Hey everyone, welcome to Home Matters, the podcast where we help you make the most informed decisions for your home renovation and improvement projects. Whether you're swapping out windows, tackling a kitchen makeover, or getting a new roof, we've got the tips, the tricks, and the insights that you need. So let's get into today's topic. If you're in the market for new windows for your home, then you know how expensive that is. It's a huge undertaking, a lot like big projects around the home, like a roof, a foundation, kitchen remodel addition. Windows can cost quite a bit, especially if you have many windows in your home. It's a little different if we're talking about a condo, a high rise where you pay the association and they may do that project once every 20 years. But if you live in a single family home where you don't have an association, or even if you do, you're responsible for replacing or repairing your own windows, if you've never gone down that road, you better brace yourself, because it is absolutely one of the top 3 most expensive projects that you can do in a home, both from the material and the labor perspective of it. Okay, so let's first talk about the types of windows that you are probably looking to replace in your home. You've got single hung versus double hung. You've got casement windows, sliding windows like a full sliding glass door, and then you've got bay and bow windows. Those are the basic types. As far as material choices, as you go down that research path, you're going to find aluminum, fiberglass, wood, vinyl, and then there are some other options as well. Considerations, absolutely, is it energy efficient? So those double pane versus triple pane glass can save you quite a bit over the course of 20 years, right? Low E coatings as well. Energy star ratings, you'll notice, windows out there like your Andersons or Pellas, they're almost always going through the Energy Star rating system, which, you could sometimes take it with a grain of salt, but they are using a standard guideline to give you what that rating is. So you should pay attention to energy ratings. Cost factors, of course, material and size. Those are like the 2 main drivers. Perhaps you have windows that are small and you want to go larger. Well, if you go larger, guess what? You're going to pay more. The complexity of the installation is a big deal. So obviously your windows on the second story that may have certain positioning where it's hard to get into, the installation company may charge you more. They may need cranes and scaffolding. Whereas if you're in a single family home that is just 1 story, it might cost you a little less. And then of course, customizing that window. So don't think just about the window, but think about the facade around the window. Do you have any elements where it requires them to take it apart? For example, you may have awnings that they have to take apart before they do that, right? So, and then you think about the inside and the outside of the home. So obviously on the outside of the home, it's a little bit easier to deal with the job site conditions, but inside the home, absolutely, it can get really complex, because let's say you're changing out the windows in your nursery, in your baby's room. Well, you've got to consider that entire room needs to be isolated and covered. And so again, consider those costs. Sometimes having to move furniture, include zip walls, vacuum systems, all sorts of things to make sure that you have the cleanest job site. All right, so seasonal considerations, best times of the year to replace the windows matters, right? Whether you're up north, in the south, the west coast, those things matter. So consider the time of the year. And then, just how weather can impact your installation. If you think about a state like Florida or Georgia, where you say, well, all year round I can do windows. Well, not really. If you're buying a new home and you're moving to Florida in the summer, what you may not know is that in most areas in the South, it rains quite a bit during the summer months, June, July, August. So considerations. Permitting and regulations. Every municipality is different. Every state is different. But of course, even down to the city, you have to consider the local building codes and understand, are there required permits? And if so, how much are those permits? Do you go and file for the permits, or does the contractor? These are important things. So one of the things that I recommend you doing is going down to the city with the contractor and making sure that they have a good relationship with the city. That will speed up the entire process for you and for the contractor. Sometimes they may not be comfortable with you doing that, but again, you're the one calling the shots because you are the homeowner who's paying for the job. installation day tips. So preparing your home, you got to get that delivery first. So oftentimes the material will be delivered a few days or even weeks before the project is getting started. And if you are giving a deposit of 50%, then yeah, you want to get that material in your hands, right? And then go over what to expect from the crew. Are you going to have 5 guys, 10 guys? Is it a whole crew? How many cars are they're coming with? What kind of machinery will they use? How will they prepare the job so that it's clean? Will they take away the old windows, or are they going to rent a dumpster that's going to sit out in front of your driveway for weeks? These are questions you have to ask when doing a window replacement. And then post installation care is important too. So you want to make sure that the warranties are in place, that they filed it for you and you have the certificates. And then, of course, understanding how to clean and maintain your windows, right? So in terms of pricing, it's really all over the place, as you would expect with any other project that we talk about here on the Home Matters podcast. It ranges based on your budget, first and foremost, your needs. So in this case, how many windows do you have, the complexity of the job, and then of course, the aesthetics. You may end up paying twice as much as your neighbor just because you want really high-end windows, right? So this really depends on you. But generally speaking, here are some of the costs for you to replace each window. Vinyl windows, $200 to $800. Wood windows, $300 to $1,200. Aluminum windows are about the lowest cost, $150 to $400. And we're talking about just a really average size here, not a huge window or a slider. A fiberglass window, $500 to $1,500 per window. And then composite, $300 to $1,100 per window. And then, of course, that cost right there is going to also change depending on the cost of labor. You may have window companies that have a higher cost per labor, depending on your location. If you're out somewhere where it's remote, they may charge you more for delivery and installation. And then, of course, the material itself. And then you're going to want to shop different window companies and see which manufacturers they work with. Do they work with the Andersons, the Pellas, or if you go to a Lowe's or Home Depot, manufacturer absolutely drives a cost in there. Now, in terms of where you can find resources for your new window replacement project, obviously we have the localcontractor.co website and directory that we recommend you go to, where we pair you up, match you with elite contractors around the country. You have obviously the home improvement stores, as I would recommend go into a Lowe's and just try to understand the process of buying new windows, right? Online forums like Reddit, Houzz, are great as well. YouTube channels, there's plenty of DIY like This Old House from PBS. So watch some of those shows. There's many how-tos and tips. Listen to podcasts like you're doing here today. Of course, you have your social media sites. You have government sites that will tell you more about window and energy efficient stuff. If you so desired, you can go down to the library and a bookstore. There's plenty of books on home renovation and specifically windows. And one that I really recommend you doing if you have the time and the luxury is heading down to a home show or a trade show. Not a trade show. Trade shows are more for contractors, but a home expo is a great way for you to dive in face to face, not only with the manufacturers and the contractors, but also other homeowners who are looking for similar projects as yours. And typically they have good deals at those shows. And then last but not least, make sure that you talk to your neighbors, your friends, other people who have installed windows and understand their process. And perhaps they can even share with you how much they paid for the window replacement. So that's, I would say, 101 for window replacement. We didn't talk about window repair here as much because it's typically a completely different set of rules and approach when you're doing a window replacement, which, by the way, you will find across the country, there are many window companies that are not interested in doing a window repair job, right? So that's something to consider. But when it comes to window replacement, absolutely, again, these are some of the resources, some of the pricing, and then what you can expect to do when looking for a new window replacement for your home. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and we look forward to talking to you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Home Matters podcast. Remember, a great home starts with making smart choices. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on a new episode. For more resources or to get in touch with a trusted local contractor, check out localcontractor.co. Until next time, take care and happy renovating.